The boys are back in town. Not only an 80s song, but where the Texas Rangers currently are right now, getting ready to play two exhibition games at Globe Life Field tonight and tomorrow, and then voila, off to Philadelphia. We're going to talk about a lot of that next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, ready or not, they don't really have any choices here anymore. 4 days until the season opener on Thursday at Philadelphia. A couple more tune-up games to go this week, tonight and tomorrow afternoon. Jeff Wilson here in the palatial Wilson residence. As you can see, it's kind of like I'm in timeout. I'm kind of in a corner here, but it's either here or the office where my wife is busy at work. So nice and quiet up here. And Elijah in the studio manning um, all that he mans. Cameras, well, I guess not cameras, just this thing. Uh, Audio, whatever. Elijah can handle it. The profits in the house. And then you guys already in the chat, appreciate that. And look, this is an exciting time, right? Um, Opening day is like I said, right around the corner. I think we're at maybe 72 or 96 hours. I can't do the math anymore, but hey, here we go. Um, Good times ahead this season. I always feel optimistic. Everybody should feel optimistic, and there's reason for optimism that we're going to dive into a little bit later. But first, let us do the camp rundown, the final camp rundown. There's no more camp to run down. It ended Saturday since our show last aired. Two games, um, Friday and Saturday night. Friday, the Rangers won 6-5. Jake Berger, grand slam in the eighth inning on the day he and the team recognized Down Syndrome Awareness Day in honor of his daughter Penelope. Now, the actual Down Syndrome Awareness Day was Saturday, 3/21 for the third. You know, you have a third 21st chromosome. That's the disease, Down syndrome. Um, but he still felt great. The players were wearing some hats about his foundation hats, and at least before the game. You couldn't do it during the game because that probably would have ticked off somebody at MLB. But anyway, he also homered last year, the day he got back after his daughter's open heart surgery. So this guy seems to really channel Penelope. He has Penelope power, which is pretty cool. The Rangers did all their scoring in the eighth inning. After the grand slam, Josh Smith had a two-run double. That was the winner. And Nathan Eovaldi, four scoreless innings, no strikeouts, but really efficient work. He got some good double playground balls to end a couple of innings. Didn't strike out anybody, but wasn't worried about it. So just a nice smooth spring for Nathan. His next start will be Thursday. The Rangers did announce the opening weekend starters, Eovaldi, DeGrom, and Mackenzie Gore. And pretty much that's what Skip Schumaker said was going to happen on the first day of spring training. And we were talking to him about workload management and all that, and he basically just laid it out there that those three pitchers at least would be on the mound in Philadelphia. Saturday, the finale, a 5-2 loss to the Diamondbacks. You know, not insignificant in that Austin Gomber started and pitched 3 runs in 4 2/3 innings at his old spring ballpark, Salt River Fields, while he was with the Rockies. Most of the regulars sat. Many were permitted to fly home on their own and didn't even show up to the surprise recreation campus. A lot of lockers had already been cleared out, and they did not, however, brave the TSA lines, which really in Phoenix weren't that bad. I think there were some dicey times in the morning hours, but by the time I flew home, it was fine. Also, encourage you guys to get TSA pre-check because that really helps. Um, Before the game, Jacob DeGrom, he pitched in surprise in a minor league game against the Dodgers, and the you look at the numbers, you're like, oh my gosh, 4 and 2/3 innings, 4 runs, 8 hits. He did not walk anybody. I think he struck out 6 or 8 guys. Fastball velocity was there. The Dodgers hitters, if they saw a fastball, they were swinging at it. And afterward, when I was talking to Jacob, he's he did give up a home run, and he said that pitch was dotted on the inside corner and high. There's no way, he basically was saying a major league hitter would not be looking for that pitch. So um, he felt good about it. He feels good about his work so far. 71 pitches in the outing. So Saturday he ought to be able to get up to 85, which is kind of where we think he's going to hold for a few starts and then gradually build up. Um, yes, it's workload management. I don't think he likes it, but I think he really liked making 30 starts last year. And if he can do that again, if let's just say Nathan Evaldi makes, let's say they make 50 starts. That was kind of our number last year. If these guys make 50 starts, they're going to be great. The pitching staff was, but and they didn't make 50. They made 53. So if they can get to 50 between them, maybe 55. Let's get greedy and go for 60. Rangers should be in pretty good shape. There was no big roster move, unfortunately, since our last show. Um, I love the roster news. So anyway, when it doesn't come out, I get a little disappointed. Peyton Gray and Jose Herrera on Friday were reassigned to minor league camp. Gray had a fabulous spring that we will be talking about here in a little bit. Um, just fantastic. And then Ryan Brazier on Saturday was granted his release. He was a 20B free agent, so he had the right to ask for it then if and of course the Rangers gave it to him. They probably told him, "Yeah, you're not going to make it." I don't think he would have taken it if they had been like, "Hey, you're on the team, just hang in there." So Ryan Brazier no longer a candidate for the bullpen, and so Skip Schumaker said that there are 4 roster spots remaining for the opening day roster. So read into that what you will. 5th starter, 2 bullpen, and 1 bench. Sounds like Zeke Duran and Andrew McCutchen have made it. So let's go through the possibilities real fast. 5th starter, Jacob Latz, Kamar Rocker, Austin Gomber, Cal Quantrill. They're still in camp, okay? And they have, as we've talked about, their depth, Gomber and Quantrill. So they could force some hands here. Bullpen candidates: Latz, if he doesn't make the rotation, Gomber Quantrill, Carter Baumler, Luis Curvelo, and Josh Spores. And then the bench: Sam Haggerty, Alejandro Osuna, Mark Hanna, and Tyler Wade. The way I think it shakes out is Latz in the rotation, Baumler and Curvelo in the bullpen, and Haggerty on the bench. I don't think that's changed for a few days. I think I probably shared that guy with you guys on Friday. It just with the four, needing somebody who you can option out of the bullpen. That's Curvelo. It could be Latz. Now it could be Latz. But he has options remaining. I just don't know how. If you don't with Baumler on the team, he cannot be optioned because of the Rule 5 stuff. And if you put, let's say, Gomber on the team, you're preserving your starting depth, but as soon as you need an arm, what do? You probably you probably DFA him. So that's why I think that and maybe Gomber takes us out. Maybe they're like, you can pitch in the bullpen. He's like, no, I want to be a starter. Whatever it is, that's kind of how I think things will shake out. There's the only reason that Baumler is not a lock is because, well, reasons is because he can't be optioned, and they may want to preserve the depth. And if they want to have an optional guy and preserve the depth for the rotation, that could be a really short straw that Baumler drew because the guy should make the team. He absolutely should, but they haven't committed to him yet, and those are the reasons why. I think he's going to make it. It's been too good. He looks like he could be a good bullpen piece for a number of years. So I think they're going to try it. But again, don't think it's 100% set in stone. Um, so that, yeah, I mean, that's the the rotation decision affects the bullpen. The bench, it just feels like Haggerty's been the guy uh, really all spring. He didn't get non-tendered at the non-tender deadline. He agreed to avoid arbitration at a very affordable clip. He's played pretty well. He made a couple of mistakes the other night at second base. Don't know how much second he's going to play. Um, he's fast. He's a switch hitter. I think his at bats as a lefty were better. He's definitely better still against as a right-handed hitter, which is not insignificant with all the potential platooning that could happen. So I feel like he's going to make the bench. And then we've talked about McCutchen and Duran. I read you the quotes that on Friday's show um, from Skip Schumaker. Talked to McCutchen the other day. He's like, I didn't have the luxury of not being able to, of coming in and getting a few days to catch up. He had to hit the ground running. He did. He's been terrific. And then I know, I keep hearing it. I see it on Twitter every time I mention Duran. He can't hit in the regular season. He has to have regular playing time. Maybe, but guys are allowed to get better. I also always say that and believe that guys are permitted to get better at what they do and how they do it and learn and all that stuff. So we'll see how it plays out. Ultimately, maybe you guys are right, or the Durant critics are right. Um, but that's how I think it's going to shake out. Um, and I'm fine with it. Especially if Duran needs to play second against a let's say a tough left-hander, and there's going to be a couple tough left-handers in that first series. The Phillies announced that they're going to start Lazardo in the third game, so they're going to go with Christopher Sanchez, Aaron Nola, their only right-hander on Saturday, and then Lazardo. So you know, how many of those um, do you want? How many of those uh, left-handed hitters do you want to get at bats against those two nasty guys? Um, One thing of note that Skip Schumaker said is that he would be comfortable playing McCutchen on back-to-back days as long as one outfield day and one DH day. He's not sure he's comfortable to play McCutchen yet on two consecutive days. So that's an interesting deal as well. Uh, Yeah. Oh, are we talking some cowboy stuff here? Woo. Um, I did see a legitimate question that's non-Cowboys. I think Janet, did you just ask who gets DFA'd for McCutchen? That's the other tricky thing. The Rangers have to sort through there. Who are the candidates to get moved off the roster? Again, I don't think Cody Freeman's a 60-day candidate yet. He's seeing a back doctor today here in town, the Rangers back specialist, Jesse Evers. And then he is going to perhaps begin baseball activities. But ever since the injury was diagnosed, all he's done is work out, ride the stationary bike, and do some lifting. He has not um, bent over to do a grounder. He hasn't thrown a baseball. So he's been around. He's been a great cheerleader, and you see him around the dugout, see him around the clubhouse. He's in card games. He's having a good time with his teammates, but he hasn't done a lick of baseball work. So once that happens, let's say he does get cleared today. Let's say it's another week before he can be cleared. Um, how slow is it going to be? Is it going to take 60 days to get him ready? I don't know about that. So that's going to be a tricky one. Again, there are guys they could DFA, right? They could move. They could DFA Otanez. They could DFA. I don't like to say it, Justin Foscue. So they have a couple guys they could do it with, and then yes, Benny, they could do it by getting rid of Jock Peterson. But I am pretty sure that is not gonna happen. Just he's unless something happens here in the next couple of days, I do not see Jock Peterson and the Rangers parting ways just yet. So um, we'll have to hang on to that. I don't know, dream if you want. Some of you in the chat have probably dreamed about it. Um, it has not been a good spring. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And one other thing technically they could do is uh, Hellman, but or not Hellman. I was saying well, Hellman is, yes, but Haggerty. But they're the Haggerty replacement would have to be either Osuna, who can't play the infield, or or like a Tyler Wade. So you're not really he's a non-roster guy, so you're just basically swapping those two. Anyway, we're up to the first break. Thankfully, I need some water in my dry mouth, and we'll get back to a camp, kind of a camp review, when we're done listening to our friends at Game Time and Wild Fork Foods. Hey guys, Game Time. That's your app if you want tickets on the secondary market. They are one of the original sponsors of DLLS Sports, not just the Ranger Show, but all of our shows. And they still have the same good deal. If you download their app and use the code DLLS, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. And as we did last week, and we're doing it again this week, continuing to keep you guys updated on prices for two games of interest for the Rangers. The first is Thursday in Philadelphia. Hey, still last minute flights. Probably drive up there faster considering the state of the TSA lines. But you can get in for as little as 115, seeing a lot of 119s and 118s at Citizens Bank Ballpark for the season opener, opening day. And then when the Rangers finally make it home, April 3rd, that game against the Reds, the home opener, tickets uh, not and the starting at 131. And what you get when you look at the Game Time app is all in pricing. You get a view of your seat. If you find a lower price, they'll give you 110% refund. It's as good as you can get. Download the Game Time app. Use code DLS for 20% off your first purchase. And of course, Wild Fork Foods. Uh, if they're not a presenting partner of this show, it sure feels like we do an ad read for them just about every show. And why not? They're excellent. And the Wilsons found that out again last night. We had a rack of ribs from Wild Fork Foods, and we also had, because my wife was feeling adventurous, I guess, some beef ribs, though not from Wild Fork Foods, and she very distinctly could tell that Wild Forks was the better quality meat, the better quality rib. And so if you need you can't find a better ringing endorsement than that from my wife, who's a marvelous cook. Wild Fork Foods, 9 DFW locations. You go to wildforkfoods.com. You can become a member for $29 for 1 year. You get free same day or next day delivery. Nicest people around. They're going to help you, and they're going to save you some money at Wild Fork Food Meat and Seafood Markets. All right, guys, that's no lie. The ribs were really good last night, but the the Wild Fork ribs are just meatier and more flavorful, and a winner all around. So, got to go back and stock up on ribs. Okay, we're gonna do a little camp review, because a lot of good stuff happened. There's some bad that we'll get to too, but the first workout for pitchers and catchers was February 10th. So Sunday the 21st here, a couple days ago, was the last day. So that's 39 days in Arizona. They only had to deal with the rain one time. You guys will remember because it's the day the Skip Schumaker came on the show. They had to go throw their bullpens inside. And it's the first time I can remember that they did not have a single Cactus League game rained out. So didn't have to scramble, didn't have to find games for guys. Pretty good there. And of course, those last 5 days of camp, smoking hot. Minor leaguers are still in Arizona. Uh, one more week for them. The break camp rosters, I know a couple people have asked, should be out late this week. Probably gonna. I asked about a couple guys. Um, I think Collie will go to AAA. I thought he might go to AA, but I think he'll go to AAA. And then AJ Russell, who everybody wants to see pitch, and why not? Believe he is going to start in low A. May only be there for a couple starts, but I think he's going to, well, a couple. I say like 4 or 5, if he just pitches his way onto that high A roster. So Look for the whole slate of that stuff to come out. Let's say Friday. Okay. Yeah, Thursday they're a little busy. Probably don't want to distract from the big league club. Before we start talking about maybe some individual stuff or certain things I noticed, let's go over the spring training leaders for the team. Um, Offense first, pretty good. Um, some pretty good stuff. Wyatt Langford, I don't. He didn't win a triple crown, although he might have. He was close, but Wyatt Langford, 1468 OPS, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs, all team highs. Walks Josh Smith, on base percentage Josh Smith. Look at Josh Smith. Look at that, 528. Now Aaron Zavala got moved out of camp a while ago. He was picking up as a sub, batted 480. What a spring for him after a good winter. If I had chosen a position player for the best average, it would have been Wyatt, who was at 444. So yeah, it's a triple crown kind of spring for Wyatt. And then at bats, which I think is an interesting stat to consider for these guys. Jake Berger with 45. He obviously wanted the work. Josh Smith was right behind him. So, um, and that's important because those guys need to be big players. You know, you got Jake needing a rebound season, and then Josh, he's now the second baseman. All right. ERA leaders, and I went with Carter Baumler because he didn't have more than 10 innings, but he didn't allow any runs. That's pretty good. And so when we're talking about, hey, this guy needs to be on the team, 0.00 ERA, yet some of his outings were against guys who were overmatched. But keep in mind, this is a guy who's barely pitched in Double A, and so if he's facing Double A hitters early in camp, theoretically they're his peers, and he shut them down. When he faced major leaguers, he did a great job. Jack Leiter led in wins. He had 2 wins, went 2-1. Peyton Gray led the team in strikeouts as a reliever. 10 and 2/3 innings, 18 strikeouts. He also led in whip because he only walked one guy. So 0.66 whip. Innings pitch leader, Nathan Eovaldi. Um, Pretty interesting there on Nathan. Talk about the rotation here a little bit later. Okay, highlights. The offense. I thought the offense was really, really good, and I think the Rangers feel very good about it. They need to turn things around. We all know that. Everybody, every pundit out there knows that. Oh, if the Rangers can hit, they're going to be contender. So did they hit this spring? They did. But more importantly than that, they walked. They had good team at bats, productive outs, situational hitting. They didn't chase as much. I think Jake Berger, though he did strike out a pretty hefty, I think 25% of the time, he is not chasing like he did last year, and like he's prone to do. That doesn't mean he won't do it in the regular season some, but that's a big step forward for him. He's understanding the strike zone and things like that. And so are a lot of guys. A lot of guys. Now you can say how much of this stuff was done by the minor leaguers. Well, to be fair, a lot. But when you look at the what the regulars did in spring training, that's a very positive sign. And again, this is the team that led baseball in on base percentage and walks. So let's not let's not get too excited. We need to see it happen. Skip Schumaker even said that. Yes, it was only spring training. We're not a finished product. He wants to see it in the regular season when it's good pitchers every night. But looks like a good foundation was laid. Um, Another takeaway for me: this was a smooth camp, man. No catastrophic injuries to big leaguers. Freeman, we talked about, is going to be on the IL. He should, could be ready in May, let's say. Sebastian Walcott unfortunately had the elbow surgery, and Caden Scarborough, the cancer scare. Those are big deals, and I don't want to say they aren't, but those guys weren't expected to contribute much to the or at all to the big league team. So the big league team's in pretty good shape health wise. Like there were no skip starts. Usually, it's like, oh, I slept funny. Josh, Jacob DeGrom, I have a little pain in my neck. Well, we're not going to push it. Nothing like that happened. Probably have to monitor Josh Young and Kyle Higashioka, but there is no talk of putting them on the injured list to start the year. They played late in camp, played in minor league games when they weren't in the A games. So I think they're in pretty good shape. Another thing that is evident, and Skip Schumaker hammered this home the other day, and really had a lot of praise for Ranger scouts and for the front office for getting these guys in camp. But the guys who were in camp on non-roster invites, they were great. Um, sure, McCutcheon, obviously, Mark Cannon was good. Tyler Wade was good. Even Ryan Brazier, who took the out, good. Josh Spores, last outing notwithstanding, very, very good. Peyton Gray, an internal invite, obviously, very good. So what does that do? That creates competition. Gomper Quantrill, them too. And it made the Rangers young players play well, and it made the guys who are competing for spots pitch well. Sam Haggerty and Ezekiel Duran, they played their tails off this spring, and a lot of it is because of the competition. And the term, I don't know that I like it, but iron sharpens iron. You know, if somebody is coming for your job and is doing a great job, well, you better get your butt in gear if you want to keep your 40-man spot and stay on the active roster. So good for the NRI guys. And this is kind of funny too. I don't know, funny. Just I never really heard a camp called like happy and joyous, and it just seemed like everybody was in a pretty darn good mood, and that's what Skip Schumaker wants. He wanted to create a new clubhouse culture where it's fun to come to work, where you don't dread coming to the ballpark. Now, spring training, it's easy to be happy because there's not a lot of pressure for most of the guys in there, or at least most of the guys are going to be on the big league team. They don't have to worry about stuff. But there was just a lot of talk about how much fun people were having. There was a ping pong doubles tournament, which I believe Jack Leiter and Cole Wynn won, um, or maybe it was Langford, and I don't remember. But there were a lot of it was talked about. There was a big bracket for it. Guys are playing all the time. Among them, Corey Seager, and on the Seager end, he took care of the Marcus Simeon stuff on the first day. It didn't linger. Nobody came in and pushed him from New York or nationally. Um, so that all went well. So there was a different vibe. And that's not a shot at Bruce Bochy, but just it was just different, and a lot of that had to do, I think, with the manager. This was probably, in my opinion, I've done 19 camps. This is probably the best camp since 23, when they also had a new manager. Best like culture camp. 24 after the World Series, it was just kind of weird, like a hangover, and I don't want to say a coronation, but that was kind of, you know, I didn't think the team was really ready to start the season. And there were injuries in the offseason to Scherzer and Seager. Remember, Seager had the last minute hernia operation. Um, Last year was just stale. I'm not gonna lie, it was just stale. But in all my 19 springs, I'd say that this is one of the probably the top 3 or top 5 camps. So take that for what you will. Low lights, Jock Peterson batting 171 in spring training, 6 for 35, no extra base hits, 12 strikeouts. He batted 181 last season. He's going to make the season. Skip Schumaker is trusting the work that he either sees Jock or hears from the hitting coaches that Jock is putting in his. Um, he believes it's eventually going to translate. You hear team personnel talk about how much Jock is invested in this. He cares about it. He's not just in there, swinging and going through the motions. He wants to be better. How much is the runway? Probably a month, maybe a little longer. It's that big contract. Silver lining. Now, did his spring or his 2025 lead to the signing of Andrew McCutcheon? Because I think that's got a chance to be a good deal. Real quickly, 2 other disappointments. The Alexis Diaz flop. He was awful in 25, but the Rangers were hoping for a rebound to what he was in 23 and 24. He had a couple good outings, but then he lost his control, lost his command, and then he lost his roster spot. He was DFA'd. He cleared. He's at AAA where he can continue to work, so that's good. But he is not the bullpen piece that the Rangers were hoping he would be. And then Sebastian Walcott, yeah, it sucks. It's internal brace surgery. He's not going to play until July or August. So it's not going to have a big impact on this team, this season's team, but maybe the 27 club. Um, but yeah, he could get at bats at Double A, maybe Triple A. Could play in the fall league. Um, and then when we mentioned Scarborough above, he is supposed to get off a mound this week. He's probably not going to break camp right away, but by middle to late April, I would expect that he's going to be with the club. So there you go. That's my camp review. I spent 20 days there, so not as much as a couple others, but more than my family wanted me to spend there. I can tell you that. All right, we're going to go to another ad break, and when we come back, we will look at this pitching staff, which still has two openings, but we're going to look at it and see what we can expect for 2026 right after this. All right, here we go. Um, Supporters Club, truly sicko level stuff, and it is. It's the diehard club for the YouTube channel and our YouTube homepage, youtube.com/at DLLS underscore sports will take you where you need to go. You hit the join button, and poof, you go right through the process. And just like that, you get access to exclusive emojis, but more importantly, the videos, the behind the scenes stuff that uh, we produce, whether it be, well, we don't produce, we help create. How about that? Because Kat, I've never done one of these producing on the backside like what Elijah does. Not me. But it's all four of our beats, and there's news all the time with these teams that we cover. The Stars are playing so well. The Mavs, gunning for that great lottery pick. The Cowboys, saw some Cowboys chatters left over from the noon show. Still putting pieces together. Even now, you hear complaints or about the Cowboys. I overheard guys at my daughter's softball game yesterday talking about it. It's like, man, put put it to rest. Anyway, supporters club, and then store.allcitynetwork.com. That's where you get our merch. And I'm telling you, I said it Friday. There are Rangers hats coming this week. KTO, I know you've been wanting them. They're coming. I've seen the two proposed models. I don't want to give anything away, but you guys are going to like them. Uh, I think they will be announced this week. Certainly hope so. Um, now, I mean, they're so Rangers themed that I can't wear them to the ballpark. I would look like a gigantic homer, and I can't do that. But they are going to be really, really good, and so I'm looking forward to you guys getting the opportunity to see them again. Stored at allcitynetwork.com is where you will find them eventually, and that's right now where you find all of our t-shirts, sweatshirts, other hats like this bad boy, and other things DLLS related. All right, we're going to slide right into that third segment right now and talk about the pitching staff. Um, it's an interesting spot for this team because they led baseball last year for the first time in franchise history in earned run average. Really, really good. Hats off to the defense for that. Um, no question about that. But somehow, some way, this pitching staff was that good. So yeah, if the offense had been league average, you're talking about a playoff team or maybe a division winner. Valdi, the opening day start, 173 ERA last year, but only 22 starts under 30 innings. Um, he's going to top the rotation at least the first time through, or that's just kind of the way it's lined up. Followed by Jacob DeGrom, Jack Leiter. I almost called him Al, Mackenzie Gore, and then we'll see. DeGrom, 297 ERA last year and 30 starts. The 30 is the big number for him. Leiter, breakthrough season, fabulous second half, still trying to establish himself, not taking anything for granted. And then Gore was the all-star last year, did not have a good second half, though. The Nationals traded him for 5 prospects, including the Rangers' first rounder last year, Gavin Feen. So um, those are your first 4. Gore will pitch the third game. I don't know why I had Leiter out of order there. So Evaldi, DeGrom, Gore, Leiter, 5th starter. And again, it's going to be Latz, who had the good year last year as a starter. Kamar Rocker, the super talented guy who everybody says is a future ace in this game, and then Quantrill or Gomber. Um, and yeah, so what is it? You know, Lance did not have a great spring numbers. He's dealing with a dip in his velocity in games that they're trying to figure out. He does throw 4 pitches though. The fastball is good even when it's not 96 like he got it up to in his last start when it was down at 90 to 92. That's when he pitched his best. So maybe it forced him to pitch a little bit. Rocker stuff is unbelievable. 99 mile per hour heater, the slider that, I mean, again, Skip Schumaker says is one of the as good as anybody's off speed pitch in the game. Um, you hear that and you're like, hey, he's got to be in there. But there's more to baseball than pitching because these guys are going to hit the ball. He still can't control the run game, and he still has trouble fielding his position. You got to be a complete pitcher. You're not going to strike everybody out like you did basically in high school and college. It's just not going to happen that way. So I don't know if that, you know, and then this guy's going to be depth. One of these guys is going to be depth. If Rocker doesn't make the rotation, he's going to go to AAA and continue to start. I do like Lance Benny. I saw what you said earlier. I still think it's Lance. Um, he has time to continue to work in the bullpen and work on the side and figure some things out, and maybe just run into a little dead arm there later in his outings. I don't know, but feels like something he's going to get through. Um, so how do we feel about that? Probably feel pretty good, right? I mean, theoretically, it's lines up to be a better rotation on paper at least than last year. Um, so I think I like the rotation. I would like to see Gore dial in a little bit more. He said he wants to be better with 2 strikes, end at bat sooner, put away guys. Um, if he can do that, and the same goes for Leiter, be more efficient, work deeper into games, let the defense work for you. They have a real chance. All right, this rotation has a real chance. Okay, the bullpen. Last year's bullpen was ERA wise pretty good. We all know the issues they had late in games. A lot of that was because they didn't have margin for error. If you had brought guys in with a 3-run lead instead of a 1-run lead, might feel a lot different about the bullpen. But yeah, so 3 of the 8 are back: Garcia, Martin, and Wynn. Maybe 4 if Latz ends up in there. Left-handers: Robert Garcia, Jalen Beeks, Tyler Alexander. Again, maybe Latz, maybe Austin Gomber. Um, Right-handers: Martin, Junis, Wynn, probably Carter Baumler, right? Probably Curvelo, I'm thinking. Maybe Spores, maybe Quantrill. I think Spores still has to show he can rebound a little bit better. Um, when he doesn't have fastball command at 93, 94, it gets hit pretty hard. That happened the other night, Friday night. His breaking pitch or pitches were very good. They're the reason why he, was able to get out of the inning. But if he's not commanding the fastball, if he leaves it over the middle, it's going to get smoked. And he knows that. He's said that. So if he's got a little more in there, maybe it's the adrenaline factor. Everybody talks about how pitching in a big league game will give you that a little extra juice if it's worth a mile or two per hour. And Josh is a pretty good pitcher. Still lacking a closer. We all know that. We all know it's going to be Robert Garcia. Try not to Try not to lose your cool, people. Chris Martin, again, um, Garcia struggled at times with being the closer last year. Took it really, really hard on himself. Feels like maybe he's learned some stuff since then. Talked with a lot of guys. Talked with Andres Munoz at the World Baseball Classic, the Mariners closer. So let's see how that plays out. I think he made 2 appearances at the end of camp, and they looked good. Chris Martin, we all know, was injury prone last year. May not be able to throw back-to-back days, and that's kind of like a prerequisite of a closer. Doesn't strike out as much as guys as you'd like a closer to do, but he was good this spring. He didn't make an appearance though until I think March 7th. So, but he's fine. He's a veteran. If anybody falters, I really am starting to be sold on Cole Winn as the next man up. If they decide to move on from Garcia or Martin, you just kind of look around at the candidates, and I think if you want a stuff guy, if you want a hard throwing guy to be your closer, Cole Winn's the guy. He can get it up to 98. He's got a good split now. Throws a bunch of throws a bunch of pitches. You don't need more than two as a closer usually, but um, you're starting to see more and more closers with bigger and bigger arsenals and having sustained success. So that's kind of how I see that mapping out. A couple things the Rangers still need as they contemplate these last few spots. They want multiple multi-inning relievers, especially early with starters like we talked about DeGrom being limited to maybe five, maybe 6 innings. You're gonna if you have too many of those guys back to back, you're gonna run out of your one inning arms real quick. So that's something that Skip Schumaker has talked about. He's also talked about wanting a reliever who has options. Okay, so Carter Baumler again, he's never played in the majors. He's a Rule 5 guy. He cannot be optioned if he makes the team. Um, so that really hampers your flexibility when you need to make a move for a fresh arm. So that's why I think Curvelo is now in a position to get that last rotation spot or bullpen spot. Now, if Baumler does make it, he's going to have to log multiple innings, which I don't think he did this spring. He's done it in the past. He said he pitched into a third inning last season, and then early on, I wouldn't expect him to pitch in high leverage because of the inexperience factor, some nerves that he's probably going to be feeling. Um, but if he felt any nerves this spring, it sure as heck didn't show. He fits in like one of the guys, just fits like a glove. There with the veterans Martin and Alexander, he just it's like they've known each other all their lives. So I feel I'm cautiously optimistic about the rotation, basically because of the rotation. I I'm cautiously optimistic about the pitching staff. I feel good about the rotation. I, what I saw from Robert Garcia late was encouraging. Um, I don't want to say I'm optimistic about it though, but he seems to he wants it. That's the thing. This guy wants the job. He does have the stuff. He uses his changeup against righties and his slider against lefties. It can be really effective. Comes down to fastball command. Doesn't have to be super hard. He throws 95-ish. That'll work as long as he's commanding it. That'll work. But he has to be ahead. He can't walk guys. No closer can though, right? But he really needs to dial in on it. And hey, he's going to get the chance. Uh, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, he will get some chances at that. And right or wrong. Oh, where is Baumler from? Janet, there you go. He is from Iowa, the state of Iowa. He was drafted out of high school. He was a TCU commitment in 2020, but the COVID draft, he was selected. The Orioles went way over slot to make sure that they got him. So, and they did. And then he was injured, but he's been pretty healthy of late. He just needs innings. He does not have very many professional innings, so that's it. Um, and the bullpen is CY's Achilles. You know what? Um, it's the same. Of the things that changed after John Daniels left. Um, oh, Janet, just curious about family close by. His little brother goes to TCU and pitches for TCU right now. So I would think that the Bombers. I think Mary is the mom. She follows me on Twitter now. I'm imagining they're going to put in a lot of DFW time once if Carter makes the club. Um, yeah, Benny, I was about to say, yeah, the one thing that didn't change from Daniels to Young is the bullpen. So I don't know why they don't do it. I would do it. I would spend money on a closer. They just don't. So okay, that's it for that. I feel pretty good about the pitching staff. We'll get to the offense um, on Wednesday as we kind of run right into the regular season. I guess we got to do a little preview, put some things together. So we'll talk about the offense on on Wednesday. Some interesting things there late in camp that I saw that you guys might like. Of speaking of John Heyman, he just tweeted that the Padres are close to a deal with Jose Leclerc. Well, that makes a ton of sense considering how many front office ties to the Rangers they have with the Padres. And I love Jose. What a guy. Okay, let's talk about becoming a diehard member, and then we will back clean up. And my God, I'm gonna run out of voice. There's so much to talk about. We'll do that right after this. All right, that helps the pipes. So spring training is over, but the spring training sale is still on. I checked today before the show. If you go to alldls.com/spring hyphen training hyphen roster, this is what you can get. $36 for 1 year, starting today until 12 months from today. Okay, you're a member for $36. You get every story, access to every story written at DLLS, whether it's my stuff, Cowboys, Stars, Mavs, and you get a free T-shirt. And we have some pretty cool T-shirts, and that's a pretty good one right there. For the love of Texas, I actually have two of them. There's an ordering mishap, miscommunication between myself and my wife. But anyway, let's go ahead and do this. It's so worth it. You get 20% off of store.allcitynetwork.com, 20% off events that hopefully we're going to be planning very, very soon. Maybe to go to the ballpark for a takeover or go to Frisco. Uh, all about Sports Zone. I don't like your question. Too negative. I would say no. But spend $36, buddy. I got $36 in my pocket right now. But anyway, please join on. You can scan the QR code there, and then go ahead and make things happen. Make yourself a smarter sports fan. Make really impress your fans. Your fans, not your fans, but your friends and your family and guys at work. Whip their butts with your sports knowledge, and they'll come to you for a lot of things after that. So it's a little annoying, but again, you're the king, but you can only be the king of sports knowledge if you are a DLLS diehard. All right, let's go ahead and do batting cleanup. And there's a lot going on. A lot going on. So we will go down there right now. We're going to do a bunch of catching up with our old friends because I like old friends. Nathaniel Lowe has made the Reds roster. He had a really good spring that included 3 home runs. Unfortunately, his mom passed away uh, there in the middle of camp, so that stinks. But he's a major leaguer. I believe he's going to be on their bench, likely to get some time against right-handers. And again, he's pretty good against lefties too. So anyway, I hope he turns it around. We all like Nate Lowe. We also all like Mitch Garver. Great guy, great American. I don't know why I said that. He's just a super guy. He will make the Rangers roster as the backup catcher to Cal Raleigh, which is pretty interesting. He was a late camp ad. If you remember the story, basically Cal Raleigh called him on like a Saturday and said, uh, just call these guys, and he did. And next day he's in camp. So it'll be nice to see Cal. The Mariners come to town on the first homestand, I believe. So that'll be good to see him. Be good to see Carlos. Man, Carlos, the old Double A manager. Be good to see him. He's now the third base coach over there at Seattle. Um, a developing situation with Martin Perez, who did not make the Braves roster on a non-roster deal and said he would go to AAA. However, Spencer Strider got put on the injured list today with an oblique injury. Not sure how long he's going to be out. So that could lead to Martin Perez being added to the opening day roster. Braves have had a lot of pitching injuries this spring. They came into the spring with some, and it just keeps adding up. And to lose Strider's a hell of a deal. Um, Perez and Strider, obviously complete opposites as pitchers, not just because one throws right-handed and one throws left-handed, just how they go about getting their outs. Uh, Old friend Merrill Kelly, and he is getting old. He's going to open the season on the injured list. I don't think we were surprised by this news after he was slowed by back issues early on in camp. He got some injections, and they thought maybe he could work through it, but he only had two spring outings, and his ERA is like 8. So I think Merrill needs a little more work. Uh, Never got to know Cody Hauer very long. I believe it's pronounced Hauer. Could be Hewer, whatever. He won a spot in the Cleveland bullpen. Rowdy Tellez, didn't get to know him much, but longer opportunity with the Rangers than Cody had. Minor league deal with the Braves after he played for Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. Our old friend Andrew Chafin, Yosemite Sam, he did not make the Twins roster. Now I could see him landing somewhere. He's left-handed, has that nice slider. I could also see him just retiring to the family farm in Ohio and peacefully going off into life. It sure seems like he didn't need baseball. I'm sure baseball helped fund the farm, but he's made a lot of funds. He's also been traded a lot here in the last few years, so I could understand why he might get a little tired of that. And this was kind of scary, and I missed it. And I missed this the first time around when it happened. But Daniel Robert, the former reliever, I think he was a 17th round pick, or maybe it was a 21st round pick. It was 21st round in 2017 from Auburn. He collapsed Sunday morning following a cardiac event after his first bullpen of the spring. He was delayed this spring because on Halloween he threw a bullpen somewhere with Philly's staff on hand, thank God, and he collapsed and they thought he might die. They had to use the defibrillator and all of that. He got an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, which I guess are called ICDs, thankfully, so you don't have to say that all the time. They're like the opposite of pacemakers. Pacemakers are for slow heart rates. This is for like the fast, dangerous ones. The good news, I guess, is that Daniel never lost consciousness yesterday. Got released from the hospital, but yeah, I hope that common sense prevails, whether it's he needs to step down from baseball or whether he, can continue to work on this thing, get that ICD dialed in. But pretty scary situation there for a guy who's, early 30s. That's pretty frightening. Okay, so that's enough of the old friends. Let's go on to some other news from around the league. Colt Emerson did not make the Mariners' opening day roster, which I find somewhat surprising. He was kind of in the running to be their third baseman, and then with J.P. Crawford's health shoulder situation, maybe get some time at shortstop, which is his position. But no, he's going to AAA. So was Connor Griffin, baseball's top prospects. The Pirates reassigned him to minor league camp. He only hit 184 this spring. He was very, very good, though. He's obviously going to be a great player. I don't know if this is the Pirates being the Pirates stuff you were talking about in the chat, but he could go to Double A Altoona. I think Altoona is still their affiliate there. He only had 98 plate appearances there last season, so I could see that. Toronto, the Blue Jays, their general manager Ross Aikens got a 5-year extension. Manager John Snyder 2-year extension. Obviously pretty well deserved after going to the World Series last year, and really big offseason put together by Atkins this year. A year ago, those two were on the hot seat, and we were talking about they may get fired. Well, good for them, not getting fired. All right, the Marlins, they're going to be without their only All-Star last year, outfielder Kyle Stowers, great young-looking left-handed hitter. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks with a grade 1 hamstring strain. Um, this may have been his first real off season as a major leaguer. Sometimes a lot of these young guys, this happens to them. So Wyatt Langford admits that last year he didn't really know what to do, and he says you learn as you go. So he's learning as he goes. The Phillies, their opening day starter, we talked about Christopher Sanchez. Well, he's now locked up through 2032, and he got $93 million in new money and a new extension that he has agreed to. Um, Good for him. Good for the Phillies. Holy cow, that pitching staff's going to be together a while. The Cubs selected Michael Conforto to be on their roster, a left-handed hitting outfielder. The Rangers targeted him after the 2022 season. He missed all of 21 or all of 22 and became a free agent. And as I recall, he took the Giants deal, but I believe the Rangers made him a 2-year offer. He just went to the Giants instead. And then last offseason, he was a name that you kept hearing about, but he went and signed with the Dodgers to get his ring. He was hurt. I don't think he played at all in the playoffs, but he's a World Series champions now. Speaking of the Dodgers, they optioned Hee-Sung Kim, which is kind of surprising, I think. Um, Alex Freeland, who is my friend Brittany Hale's favorite Dodgers prospect, he's made the team. Um, Kim, anytime you bring somebody from Korea, you expect it's going to work and he's going to be on the team, but Kim is not, and he is off to Oklahoma City. Craig Kimbrell, I guess he's an old friend. He at least played at AAA last year in the Rangers organization. He won't make the Mets roster. Gavin Collier's idol. Um, he's gonna stay in the Mets organization. He's gonna stay in Florida and keep working to be uh, an option for the Mets at some points. It's kind of he's an interesting Hall of Fame case. Closers, they just are underrepresented. With as much as we talk about the Rangers needing a great closer, there are only a handful of them in the Hall of Fame. Francisco Rodriguez, his vote totals continue to decrease. I don't know that he's going to get to 5% next year. I'm going to vote for him because I continue to vote for him. I think he's third all time in saves, or he's definitely top five. It's a big number. Okay, so Reese Hoskins, he has made the Guardians roster, which isn't a surprise. He had his first spring game this year was against the Rangers at Surprise Stadium. And then Walker Bueller and Ty France. Remember how the Padres made all those signings right before camp? Nick Castellanos, they signed him, but they also signed Bueller. They also signed France. They have both made the roster as non-roster invitees. So, um, yeah, that's pretty heady stuff from the Padres group. If you have a chance to get some veterans, and if you are planning to beat the Dodgers, you need some veteran guys. Okay, I'm gonna run to the chat real fast. Do 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 do. Janet, I haven't seen the early power rankings for MLB. I'm guessing the Rangers aren't very good. So okay, I don't know that. Gallagher, don't tell anybody that the roof is open. Don't tell me that the roof is open. Yeah, I already know. I already know. I've already internalized it. Tried to let it out. Speaking of old friends, anything on Joey Gallo? I have not seen him sign with a team yet. I haven't seen any tweets from him for a while either. So, darn it. Um, I'd like to see that happen. Did Jonah Heim make the Braves roster? Yes, he did. Um, but he's not going to be there for long um, because one of their catchers is hurt, and he's going to be coming back in like May. So I think Jonah's just holding a spot. And yeah, I saw a little fantasy talk. Guys, sorry I wasn't there for much of the draft. I had trouble getting into the draft room on my phone, so I had to download an app, and then I had an opportunity to do something with my son, which turns out to be like my favorite thing to do with him now, and that's play golf. So I was checking in and um, tried to make picks when I could between errant tee shots and whatnot, but yeah, we're going to have a good time with that, and we'll start doing some updates. Um, well, shoot, the season starts this week, so probably not this week. Maybe after next week, we can start breaking it down because I don't want to count like 3 days. So anyway, all right, guys, it's coming up on 2 o'clock. I've got to get to the ballpark. There's a baseball game to be played today at Globe Life Field, and tomorrow it's a day game. Then they are off on Wednesday, and then they play Thursday, Friday. They play Thursday, Saturday, Sunday to open their season. at Philadelphia. Again, Wednesday show, assuming I don't have any flight complications, I will be shooting from Philadelphia, and yeah, we'll talk. We'll do a whole season preview. How about that? Sounds good, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you Wednesday at 1 p.m. Wednesday 1 p.m. on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.